So when I was introduced, it was said that I'm a poet, a spoken word artist. I would love to share a piece with you to kind of close this moment, this part of our moment of celebration. And so what will be cool about this piece is nobody in here has ever heard me do poetry, so it'll be the first time you've ever heard this poem. But what will make it very different is it will also be the first time that I've ever heard this poem. The poem is going to be constructed right here in real time on the spot based on the words that our fathers give us. So some may say this is impromptu, some may say it's freestyle. I'll simply say it's spirit-led. And so this piece honors our children, it honors the daughters, it honors the sons. That one word, think of that one word, let it sit in your heart, and to kind of move this in, brother, could you give me a title for this piece?
Love.
Love. Now this is amazing. I was going to tell them that they couldn't pick the word love because I thought love should be the title of the poem. But I said, no, let me not do that, because somebody may pick it. And someone did pick it. So the title of this piece is Love. So about every 20 seconds, I'll start with love. Just speak your word into the atmosphere. And then we'll see where this poem goes. But we know where it started. It's starting with love. In the beginning, before there was time, God spoke words divine and said, let there be light, and let there be love. And love sometimes feels like a gift coming from above. As the sun begins to shine, I'm reminded why God said that I am theirs and they are mine. And I'm thinking about the respect that begins to gather with every day and every movement of time. I begin to respect this gift divine that God gave me when God called me to be a father who would spend time cultivating seed and cultivating the dreams and helping my son and daughter begin to believe who they could be. And I remember when my father always said to walk in integrity, he simply said, if you make a promise to your son or to your daughter, simply keep your word, because they will remember the things that you did, but they will also remember what you heard. And if they heard love and then saw integrity manifest in who you are, integrity is who they also will be. And I began to think about those moments of validation when I realized that I'm actually the answer to my parents' contemplations or my parents' prayers. Because see, there was a place they saw that I could get, and they dreamed about me being there. And so that's why they poured so much love, and that's why they poured so much light. And that's why even in the midst of the night when I was crying my deepest and darkest tears, my mother or my father would draw me near and say that as long as you are there, the presence of God is near. And we think of the fear of God, that reference that we need to have when we think about how God loved us in ages past, how God loved us even before we became who we are. Do you know it is like God speaking light into a star, and then that star became the bright and morning star that began to shine down? And so that's why everywhere you go, God begins to speak life, and that place becomes sacred ground. So if you will simply revere God and lift God up and fear God, not as in the sense of thinking that God is always coming to punish, but fear God in terms of loving God so much that you begin to understand that you are like the most precious flower held in God's hand. And you are actually the manifestation of God's most sacred command when God said, let there be light, and then there was we. And we think about those moments of prayer and how prayer seems to always take us there. It takes us into that space and time where God begins to rewrite the rhythm of our rhymes. It takes us into that space and time where God says you do not belong to the world, but you are mine, and you are precious, and you are holy, and you are sacred, and you are one who has been put here for a reason and a purpose. So, sisters, every day you think about the gift of life, let you say, let us work this. Let us work it in a way where we begin to understand why our father and our mother every day will begin to pray and say, go forth and lead, go forth and bleed, go forth and be who God called you to be, as you become an emanation of love and integrity and respect, and fear of God will always bless you in ways that you never began to expect. And see, that's where the wisdom begins to come. The wisdom begins to come when we begin to understand that I am not simply one who is in this world by myself, but I am one who has been blessed with the sacred help of a Father who says you can go farther than you ever imagined. A Father who says you must realize that you are the number one gift that God has given. A Father who says every day of life is worth living, especially when wisdom becomes our guide. See, wisdom helps us to understand, to separate the selfishness and the pride from the love and the compassion. And the compassion will be like a master key opening every single door so that your actions will be imbued with God's precious light. And I'm thinking about independence as I look at every one of these little girls, and I wonder about what they dream at night. Do they dream of becoming dancers? Do they dream of becoming doctors? Do they dream of becoming lawyers, teachers, maybe even preachers? But whatever you dream of, know that it has already been blessed. Whatever you dream of, know that God has given you the strength to pass every test. Whatever you dream of, never settle for less, because you have been blessed to be one of the most unique individuals to touch this world. And so I'm glad I can look into your eyes and understand that God's truth is going to unfurl as you. And I love to hear the word kindness repeated. It's like kindness squared. It's like the answer to the prayer. It's like the wisdom that is there. It is like God letting us all understand what it means to be the answer to a prayer. It is like God helping us understand what it means to walk in integrity and respect. And see, when I look into your eyes, I can see the kindness as it begins to reflect. It reflects back at me. And I'm so glad that when I look into your eyes, I can also see your Father's dreams. And I'm glad when I look into your eyes, I can see the love that you actually pour towards me. And when I look into your eyes, I'm actually seeing a reflection of me. A reflection of me, though we may not have the same name, we actually come from the same place. And so we can claim that we are both sons of God. And so as I think about being a son of God or a daughter of God, I'm thinking about God's love, and I'm thinking about God's chastening rod, but I'm also thinking about how God had already gone into the places where we would try. And I'm thinking about how love reminds us why we are on this earth. And so, fathers, I honor you for coming here to uplift our sons and our daughters and remind them of their worth. So today, let's go out in love and light and liberty and dream a gift sublime. Thank you for honoring our children today and reminding them that they are precious gifts divine. God bless you.